Hello everyone and welcome to, well, it's a brand new week, brand new series. So this time we're going to go into D4, Dark Dreams Don't Die, which is a game directed by the same person who directed Deadly Premonition, which I've played previously on the channel. And that is Swery65, or also known as Swery. Real name Hidetaka Suehiro. And during this time he worked for Access Games, which is an Osaka-based development studio that he in fact was a part of the founding team for that. He's since left and founded a new studio by the name White Owls Inc. I don't know if there's anything that's ink as in incorporated, not ink as in the thing that you use to write, for example. I don't know if he's done anything ever since, anything new. However, there's a very simple reason why I chose to play this, and that, well, it's a reason that became apparent as I was playing this for myself, and I wanted to play this for the channel. So, as said, same director as Deadly Premonition, so basically what we're dealing with here is slightly supernatural detective thriller. And let's not go into the settings. The game is controlled either with the controller or with the mouse. There's no movement keys. I've played the prologue, so we're going to go back into that and we're going to replay it for this. This is a work of fiction, blah 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 blah. Thank you, we get that.
David.
This is a story of a man with a very strange fate.
Hey, look. It's like I've grown wings.
Now, Deadly Premonition came out in 2010. There's just been a gunshot, there goes a shell casing, and this game was released in 2015 for Windows, 2014 for Xbox One, so slightly more recent, still not very recent. So it's got a very stylized art style. There we go, developed by Access Games. Skip tutorial? Well, no, let's keep the tutorial in. For my own problems and posterity. So, investigate clues. So, control scheme very much, well, very mouse dependent. And indeed, the way you move is you click on this little pre-existing movement. Right. Spinning. So a lot of spinning in place, a lot of it's surprisingly I wouldn't say clunky, but it is a surprising way of doing a game like this. It almost brings it into a point and click, but yet not quite. There's other mechanics at play as well. Now, to be honest, Deadly Premonition's failure point, the point where it failed as a game, was in failing as a game. While it was a very interesting story, in fact a very good story, I would go so far as to say, as a game the mechanics were severely lacking, especially on the PC port, which was which is notoriously awful. But even on the console, because I've had the chance to play through the game both on PC and on console, and even on the console where the controls are significantly better, they still aren't very good. There that man goes. Okay then. So,
I didn't see you again this time either.
so during the cutscene moments, there are still points of interest that you can hover over to receive additional information, which is...
Little Peggy.
You're a little piggy.
My name is David Young, former knock with the Boston PD, and now a detective who searches the past. My likes include 100% de agave tequila. My dislikes are mainly drugs and chewing gum. Two years ago, someone killed my wife. Since then, I've been using every second of my life to solve a case, using a certain, very special power.
You can tell that this was made by Swery, who, you know, still does have an author status when it comes to game design, although that is,
My head is full of
more of a
memories my
feature
wife.
of the Japanese game design anyway,
And the bullet that robs me of it.
which is, you know, fair enough.
What happened in this place on that day?
Anything interesting there? No. Anything of value here? We could grab it.
Little Peggy. Everyone has their own place to work. A small desk in an office, a molten hot factory, a quiet library, the register in a supermarket, or in the middle of an intersection, in bed, on a golf course, a kitchen, For some, it's the whole town. From the day she died, this has been my place to work.
Anyway, as I was saying, you can tell that the game was directed by Swery, because had it been directed by Hideo Kojima, we would have known already.
This case is
13 fucking times. Although, to be honest, Swery doesn't have quite the same status. He's not quite as prolific. Although, well, what can I say? I've only played the prologue to this, and I've played Deadly Premonition twice, so I know that the story of Deadly Premonition is good. The gameplay isn't. With this,
nothing mixed in.
The story is somewhat interesting thus far, so hopefully that'll remain the case. Wait, what? It has some weird gameplay elements that remind me of Heavy Rain.
Perfect stimulation for my lead-filled brain.
You know, a little bit of a David Cage game, but that's
I wish I could
okay.
have a drink too.
Little Peggy loved it. If that's your wife, you should not call her Little Peggy.
Maybe I'll just try a little.
Zest horrible. Okay.
Did you hear about David's wife? Man, they were just married, too.
Nothing
I
interesting
heard it was
happening.
revenge for one of his investigations.
Sure sounds like the way they operate. Sending a deadly message.
Well, what is it about detectives being from Boston?
I have no memories of that day. When I came to, I was already lying in the ICU. The only thing I do remember are the words that little Peggy whispered as she died. Look for D. Who is D?
Look for D.
Those words keep spinning in my head. At the time, with no compelling evidence, the case hit a dead end. I quit the BPD. However, under the right circumstances, I now have the capability to solve even a dead-end case.
Okay, so my question about this whole thing is look for D, and D doesn't mean David in this.
I'll do
100% synchro rate. How am I going to fuck that up? I mean,
I swear I will.
I'm not doing a
when I do,
bang-on job now. I mean, if it's going to set a low standard now, then that means I'm
Amanda?
just going to fail in the future. It should set a high standard now, expect me to fail at the start, and then I could become better with practice instead of just being terrible. New item in food list: hamburger. So yes, we've got a stamina bar at the top. Investigate the rattling door. Do you fucking reckon? What?
Hold it!
escape now. This is Amanda. She just suddenly started living here one day. She sometimes goes out and gets food for us. And that's something of a lifeline for me, as I don't really go outside.
Is this a fetish game?
Who she is, though, well, my memory holds no answers.
Yo, David, everything shipshape?
As you can see, Teddy,
Someone definitely got the jump on you.
Forrest Casey, a detective with the Boston Police Department, and my former partner. He's
See,
still
this is
helping
the
me out
point
with
where I
things in my
decided to play this
section.
game.
He's both a client and a source of information. He gets whatever I need.
Women are always trouble. Doesn't matter how old they get, trouble.
I'm fighting with Diana again?
Like you wouldn't believe. Women, men don't stand a chance. Don't come and see me actually means get right over here. But then, leave me alone just means, well, leave me alone. How am I meant to make sense of that? Tell me, David, please.
Swear 65. A little bit of that jerk-off
Place can be
moment.
nice once in a while.
Once in a while. All the time is more like it. I was a fool to ask you. Man, Diana's so stupid.
Once feared as the mighty Grizzly, detective among detectives. Now he's more like a big teddy
What's the
bear.
point of the place?
Teddy, what's this?
So, tell me, David, have you heard the news about that airplane accident, huh?
Access Gate Airways Flight 117, struck by unexplained lightning?
Access gate.
No one's talking about anything else right now.
So, Cafe Swery
might be
65.
looking at the real
That
deal.
we can forgive because we know that
I've
there
got
was
the good
a
stuff.
bar Swery 65 in Deadly Premonition. Makes perfect sense. We also need to know that this was made by Access Games again. Forrest Kaysen, of course, very important character in Deadly Premonition, which is this is the reason I decided to play this. So let's just for a moment forget that we were told to look for D, and let's also forget the fact that you know, we're playing a man by the name of David who was also the husband, and there were no signs of a third party. How the fuck is that man still alive? Not alive, free, I mean. How's that man not, you know, being tried for the murder of his
simply
wife?
vanishing from an aircraft mid-flight. Does that sound possible to you? Antonio Zapatero, otherwise known as Rabbit. He's a courier who only carries real blood. This one promised to provide evidence after being brought to Boston. Evidence that may well have led to the ID of the source of real blood. But then the lightning struck, and in the confusion, he vanished.
He escaped somehow?
No. When I say vanished, that's pretty much what I mean. Like something out of a magic act.
So, clue me in. What makes this one the real deal?
The name of the boss he was going to give up? Apparently starts with the letter D.
Well, so does
This
David.
courier might have had evidence revealing the identity of D. So, interested yet? Let me ask you again. passenger simply vanishing from an aircraft mid-flight. Does that sound possible to you?
Got your nose. Got your nose?
No, it's impossible. There's someone pulling the strings behind this mystery.
Right on the money, David. The third party most likely used the confusion to spirit the courier away. Lots of people want the evidence he was carrying, after all. From the evidence I was able to bring, this particular item is the most interesting. The owner of that badge was involved in this incident. Well?
No doubt about it. This is a memento.
Great. It's yours then. Let's hope it's the last one you'll ever need.
Cool. Piece of evidence relating to the case of the vanishing courier belongs to the Federal Marshal Derek Buchanan, who was killed. Okay then. Dog feathers and what fucking whiskers? She's got no fucking whiskers. I mean, granted, she does seem like a. Ah, so this is the shop interface apparently. I did not know this actually. Day 2 inmate. Oh, Wrestle Star. Jesus. Nah, is this like I can receive free clothing items? 12 free clothing items in this. Okay, we'll buy inmate because I want to see how the thing works. Nah, we're not gonna change yet. We're gonna go into vision. Rabbit's foot. Okay, auto recover, life, auto recover, stamina, auto recover. Okay, clothes 2. Okay, these seem to be okay for. Okay then. Fine. We'll change clothes now. Oh, just change clothes for Amanda. Is this the fetish game? Am I accidentally playing a fetish game? Okay, I'm gonna avoid some of the stuff that I know has an interaction but doesn't really lend anything to the story. Right, David Young. We'll put on the inmate beard. There we go. Collaboration. So we've got a killer instinct hoodie, but more importantly, we've got a well. There's also a Gears of War hoodie. Of all the things. There we go. Predatory Demolition. Also known as Deadly Premonition. So this game does kind of revel in reminding itself of past glories. And to be honest, even though Deadly Premonition kind of has become a cult favourite and has attained cult status, it never really became a mainstream
Thanks for all the
success.
help.
Well, but that's the
Problem, David. We're partners. You may have quit the force, but that fact won't change. Hell, if you trace it all the way back, if I hadn't asked you to join up in the first place...
Teddy!
right, Forrest. Don't go selling no saplings in the meantime, yeah?
No.
Right, as I was saying,
Don't give
kind
me
of
that
attained a slight
just trying to
indie
give him a
darling
reason to live.
status in that, you know, it reviewed okay, and you know, it's attained cult status based on its story, which is cheesy and is nonsensical in places. However, it's also very good, very intriguing, very Twin Peaksy.
Little Peggy. Time has been frozen for me since that day. Will I see you this time?
Okay then. Galaxy of Terror was a bar in Deadly Premonition as well. Didn't really collect anything, to be honest, so there's a lot of stuff apparently to search. I'm not going to be doing a completionist run, mainly for three reasons. One, I want to keep going at a reasonable pace, prevent this from turning into another fucking million-part series, and of course to not deny anyone the sense of discovery for themselves. So next time we're actually going to go into chapter 1 proper. For now, this is enough. We've done the prologue, we know how the game works, we've met a couple of the characters, and we've gone over quite well you know, the credentials of Swery, and more importantly how at least the prologue slightly wallows in old glories. So with that in mind, thank you for joining, and of course thank you to all of those who joined the stream yesterday, and I hope you join me again on Wednesday when we go proper into the game. So until then, goodbye.